What is BIM Excellence Initiative?
Yeah, it is again a trial. It's an approach. It is a commitment. It is passion. It is, you can call it whatever you want. Trying to do something good in our built environment through the connected effort of people who think the same way or very similar way. Okay, so trying to bring people who have the same passion, but they are specialists. They're not just have the same. It's not enough to have passion. Okay, it's really good to have passion, and that's really the first ingredient. But you have to be a specialist, and you know what you're saying. Okay, you don't have to be the top specialist. You have to be a specialist. Okay, and we have to have a common mission. Bring these three together. Okay, and add a couple of more ingredients we can discuss. You have a community that has a common goal, a common mission, a common vision, a common set of projects, a common set of protocols to deliver something for the built environment. Now, the initiative, you could describe it in many ways. You could describe it as a community. You could describe it as a knowledge engine because it feeds on knowledge and produces knowledge. You can call it also a network of like-minded people and associations. As you'll see, as we grow, we're not only connecting people, we're connecting also associations. We already have these connections in some of these projects, but not across all projects. But in the purest sense of it, it is a horizontal effort to change the industry or to improve the digitalization of the industry through the collective efforts of individuals and groups.
Okay, this sounds so complex. When did you start this? When did you found this?
It is complex in a sense that it is not an elevator pitch, okay? But it is a natural progression of someone's individual effort. Like meaning, like you start now a videocast, you succeed, correct? The next step for you is, okay, who's going to help me with this? Who's going to help me source the materials? Who's going to be preparing the interviews? Who's going to do the editing? Who's going to do, the working on social media, etc. So even if you're only focusing on a single medium and a single topic, if you want to progress anything, you have to move from an individual effort to either a team effort, like a formal team, or a group effort. So the initiative started like a individual effort. But if you want to have more effect, on your own you can do only so much. Okay, you can do good stuff, but you cannot multiply them. Okay, so the initiative is multiplicative. Yeah, it tries to multiply the efforts of people. When you put 1 + 1 + 1, doesn't make them 3, it makes them 5. When you put 1 + 10, it doesn't make them 11, it makes them 20 and 30. So the effort here is to try to multiply the passion and effort of people working together so they can change the industry in their own way.
Yeah, this when I said complex, I was thinking like having this in your mind, on your mind, only you as a person. I guess like the first iteration of this was simpler, and maybe you just it just grew afterwards, right?
It's actually the opposite.
The opposite?
It is opposite. It started with complex. Like, okay, this is a complex problem. How can we improve the industry? Okay, because someone said, "Oh, I want to improve the industry." Say, "Okay, what do you mean?" There's so many things to change, correct? And you start thinking, okay, I want to produce learning materials, and I want to produce software, and I want to produce videocasts and podcasts and books and whatever. And the idea itself becomes like very big, and say, how can I change the industry without doing all this? So you start with this big idea and say, okay, what is the essence of all this? If I want to do this, all of this, how can I achieve it with minimum effort in a solid, in a way? And you start looking at what's common between all these things you want to do. Okay, and in our case, you find that knowledge is the essence. Of course, that's like a general statement, but you can all of them connect them through a skeleton. If you can reduce all this complexity and make it's like 6 projects, rather than 100 projects. If you can make it a couple of models and frameworks rather than being 10 frameworks, then it becomes manageable. So it started with this big, huge, impossible to do, to now to becoming reasonable to understand with maybe 3-4 hours, of discussion. And over a couple of years, if you give it another couple of years, it will be easy to understand with maybe a day, half a day, 3 hours, 2 hours, maybe then becomes half a minute in order to explain what it is.
Yeah, of course. Like it was more complex because it was difficult to articulate it and try different things. But when you get more people to help, then you get the chance to, from different perspective, you get more clarity. Like, yeah, this is something palpable. This can be a project. We can do that, right?
I'll give you an example, just so that to exemplify this notion of from complexity comes simplicity. Is we never published the mission or the vision of the initiative, but after these 3 sessions, the mission, the vision, all these things, we had the principles, of course, became clearer. Okay, because you see how people are interacting with each other, and you find the right words to describe what they're doing. And after these, our first excellence seminar, which just happened at the end of July, now we have a new page on the initiative website saying mission, which wasn't there because it was implicit. Now it became explicit. Now something called vision there. Okay, and now the vision and the mission and the goals and the purposes are all connected. And that's a simplification process based on starting with something ambiguous.